Getting on to like my spiritual journey, which I think started my quote unquote awakening, if you want to call it that, to where you awaken to your true nature. You know, you start beginning to understand who you are again. Um, for me, it was nothing, you know, that I could have done to have started it. Um, it was all from personal trauma that arose this newfound consciousness level that I've accumulated, but or cultivated. But that awakening point was about 2 years ago, 2.5 years, no longer than three for sure. And I remember whenever it was when I was first experiencing everything, I was called to do more practices in line and on that level with the things that I was feeling. And meditation, mindfulness, just new ways of being were being asked of me, or I was asking for it also. I don't know. I was seeking it out, and those things were the things that were calling to me, and I got great benefit from and still do. But it was such a strong feeling point back then that I was called to do it, meaning drop everything else around me, that like my interest and all that kind of stuff, just kind of drop it and go head in on this, because I feel like it was innately what I had to do. Like I can't explain it, you know what I'm saying? Like that was the only option for myself at that point in my life. And but when I did that, I focused so much on my spiritual practices that like I said, I dropped a lot of my interest, things that I really loved, because they weren't. I guess I was so involved in the practices that I had no time for my other stuff, and I think that's okay. I love to watch horror movies, and I love to listen to music. I love to just jam music and bands that I love. I just love music so much. I play guitar also, sing to myself. I like to sing, but I have been playing guitar for a while, and into heavier music, into classic rock, pop, R&B, all kinds of stuff. It runs my musical tastes run the gamut of like a shit ton of different things. Um, and that's been cultivated over years too. But anyways, I love those things. I love those things with all my being. And while I was able to let it go when I first got into my spiritual journey and started, diving deep headfirst into that, because I wanted to. I was called to. That again, I dropped everything. I didn't watch movies anymore. I didn't feel like I had no need to watch them. I'm like, okay, I don't. That's fine. I'd rather focus on how to be a better person. Um, overall, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how can I tap into something? I found something that I could tap into that kind of like releases a load of unneeded stress that I've been carrying. It makes my overall experience easier, and there's a feeling of overwhelming trust in it because you're literally trusting yourself, your intuition, your contact with the higher being, the higher source, the higher power. You're coming into contact with that. You're kind of in this. You begin to get more in this relationship where you feel it. You feel when you're in contact and you're connected, and it's so strong, it's undeniable, and you want to stay in that because again, it makes everything in life that much better. Every video, my phone's gonna probably just pop out of the just pop right on out of my tripod. It's done in the last video too, so I need to just stop putting it up there altogether. But I really don't like holding it. Anyways, I was feeling not the remnants. I was feeling like the effects of all of that stuff because I was going headfirst into that, and I dropped everything around me. That watching movies didn't feel like it resonated. Listening to music was still there. Obviously, I actually came into contact with bands that I've liked and bands that I haven't known before that deal with these type of personal growth, spirituality, lyrics. Like they've been putting that in their songs, and I hadn't noticed because I wasn't looking for it or I wasn't ready to hear that. But when you go look at bands like Earth, Wind, and Fire and stuff like that, they're talking a lot about that I am within us. How we can do anything, how powerful of a being we are, but also the unseen nature of everything around and how it connects to who we are as well. And so to say I wasn't into music while I started my spiritual journey would be a lie. I just didn't listen to it as much like I used to. I used to listen to freaking albums every day, all day. Like that was that type of fanaticism with that. And I still do listen to it throughout my day, but it's not nearly to the extent and amount that I used to, which is fine. But even though, like I said, with Earth, Wind, and Fire, I just felt called to listen to that. That felt good to listen to, and then the lyrics being resonant with what I'm feeling and what I'm living is very synchronistic to me, and I loved having that experience. And that was while I was on the journey, still on the journey, and still am. But being able to just let yourself enjoy the things that you already love too. Like, why can you not have both? At first, it feels like, well, I need to just put all my time to God. I need to put all my time to myself and God. And you do it because I do it. I went so full in because I was so far removed from that connection. And when I got a taste of it, I was like, okay, this is real here. This is something that's real, and this is what I want. This is my salvation. You know what I mean? In a way, this is how I can live and be better as and feel best within myself. It was through this, and it still is that for that, and I don't see that changing ever. It's such an important thing to me in my life. Obviously, why I would have made this channel at all. So, but I'm just figuring it out now better. The more you go, it's like trial and error with everything else in life, where it's like, okay, I can come back and listen to music. I can listen to death metal if I want to, just because it's not resonant with my belief. So I've gotten to a place within myself where my center is so culminated, and I'm kind of like stapled to it, not stapled, but like anchored to it. That's the word. I'm so anchored to my center nowadays where I don't get knocked off as easily, and if I do, I can recorrect and recoup and recourse and all that kind of stuff at the blink of an eye. But I that's from all the practice I've put in and just being consistent with it, and it giving me results. And so that stuff's important for me. Still number one in my life, but I can also just these other things I do that I still love, it won't knock me off my center or nothing like that because it can't. I don't allow it. I've got that bond with myself and God right now. So, but it's cool because I get to still, I have more room within my awareness, within my consciousness. I have more spaciousness to accept listening to more music and just enjoying that process and knowing that's part of my human life and that I get to experience this and be grateful for it. All the great music, like I am so appreciative of all of that, that I get to play my guitar, that I have arms that work, fingers that work, and I have a mind that works enough for me to learn how to play guitar. And I'm grateful for that. I have all these things. I love horror movies. When I don't watch, I still watch maybe one or two every 2 weeks or something like that. It's not much, but just to put one on every now and again and say yes, and that too is fine, right? I feel the power within myself. These spiritual practices are beneficial, and I don't want to stop. This is my new way of being on this planet. But also, you are human and you can accept to do these things too. There's balance and all involved, like anything in life. But yeah, I guess what I'm saying is just it's been an eye opener and a relief to know that I can still spend as much time as I can on myself and harnessing this power within me through meditation and through being a more loving person in this world. It gives me more time to do the things that I want to do. People always say this. It's like when you start enjoying life, no matter what your circumstances are, when you just start enjoying life with no expectations, your cup overfills because you're not looking for external things to find joy and happiness. You found it within your center, within yourself. And so whatever happens around happens around. We've learned it's not easy, but it's worth having that because, like I said, once all that happens, you control your reality at that point. You're the one who says yes. You're the one who says no. You're the one who lets things in. You're the ones who lets things out. It's all based upon you. And so when you really come to understand that and like feel the benefits of all these practices, then it's like, yes, I have all this strength and spaciousness within me to also take on things that I still love and not judge myself because I'm doing it and that it's not quote unquote holy or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Everything can be looked at through the lens of the higher source, which in turn would make everything perfect because everything is perfect. This whole idea of a life that we live in right now, and it goes far beyond this 3D realm. And so for it to be as concise and how it runs by itself, like the intelligence running everything is beyond our imagination. But it also is part of our imagination, but it's just beyond our limited 3D mind can think. It's so perfect in how it works. And when we gain perspectives, we could see how some things that are bad, that are perceivably bad, can be seen as neutral or seen even as a positive in a positive way. And when you can do that, you start looking at life differently. And I don't know how I got on this point right here. Just to be honest with you, I don't even remember. I don't even know how I got to this point. Because my whole point was about the music thing and accepting that you can still listen to music, enjoy music, metal. I love metal. Love all kind of genres, but metal, death metal, extreme metal. I sound like Forrest Gump here talking about shrimp, but nonetheless, it's so freeing and awesome when you can feel okay with where you're going in your life. You feel positive towards that. It's what it is. You turn everything is more positive now, and everything is more looking forward in a very optimistic glass half full viewpoint. It's always been like that, but you culminate these practices enough, and you focus on wanting to go that way and accepting nothing else and being deliberate in that, and it starts to change your life, and it starts getting you to feel eager about what's coming around the corner and what's going to be next in your life because you know how you've been within. And when that happens again, then again, the beautiful thing that I'm finding out that I'm saying again, you get to have all your love and interest back. You don't do it in maybe the capacity you used to, but you could still have it and enjoy it to the fullest because we're living a limited experience right now that will end in this form will end. But while I'm here, I want to do all those things. I have it feels good to be alive. I feel alive. And when you feel alive, you say yes to everything. There's nothing you say no to. You're just okay with things now because you know it's the flow of life, and it's a beautiful place. And I just want people to experience this place. And so I guess that's why this whole pivot towards me talking about music more and horror movies and just things that I love, and trying to intermingle and weave them into spirituality and psychology and being a human being, but also realizing we're beyond that too, and accepting all of this and how to integrate them both. Because I feel like there is a way. Because why not? Because I say so. We say so. We can do it. So we can do whatever we want. And I want to do that. I want to integrate both. Because I feel like the people who listen to metal, I don't know how many people are that conscious in that. Or maybe they are, but they don't know about these, it goes deeper. Like, and is anybody out there willing to go deeper? because I don't know, it's just you get a better overall life experience, right? And I want that for everyone. So when I go to shows all the time, metal shows, and I see there's a lot of angry people out there sometimes, in a non-judgmental way. They're just kind of, I can feel the energy in their field. I can feel that angriness to it, or just malaise with life. You feel that all over the place nowadays, but metalheads are not any different, Rightfully so. I mean, they're living the human experience, but just because they listen to metal doesn't mean they don't feel those things. So, but to show those people, I know it's their life, but just to give them the option to find out that there's something else. And if maybe they're just a little bit open minded, that they could take it as a seed and they can like change their lives as well. And then you would be really touching the lives of people within places like a metalhead community or something, or just people that go listen to music a lot and go to shows and are like not attached, but are like part of that scene, like going to shows and enjoying live music. But especially if you're a metalhead, and to have that understanding of that there's ways to live this life better, that says yes, you can still listen to this stuff that you really care about. It's actually a big part of your journey, and it obviously is. You feel it, but it could be incorporated with this idea that we have a higher consciousness and that we can control our realities. And I feel like then music and all just becomes more sweeter because you accept it as a part of this experience, and it's just you've been practicing gratitude for so long. You've been getting on the train of being happy to be happy, feeling a desired outcome before a desired outcome comes, believing in the proof that it's already done, and you start to feel better within yourself, and you start changing your self concept, and you become a different person, and but still the same person. I want people to realize that too. It's like you're still the same person. It's not like you just will stop loving what you have always loved. Just your priorities will be different, and you'll have tons of perspective to go off of now too, because you've experienced life. Which, if you're suffering of any kind, if you're suffering at all, first, welcome to Earth. Two, um, that means you're experiencing. So we can use those feelings of malaise and being tired of life and how it is, how it seems to be, and realize that there's a greater truth lying underneath it all. And yeah, that's just a beautiful concept to me, to infiltrate metalheads, or some kind of group like that with a consciousness, more positive based thing. I feel like that's just helping towards love, right? It's helping towards loving everyone, accepting everyone, but showing them and caring for them enough as fellow beings on this experience with us, that hey, there's a better way to go about this, and hey, we can still come together on listening to some fucking awesome tunes too. Like, I like blast beats still. I like shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that shit's cool to me too. But also, we're coming from a more forgiving place within ourselves. Um, it just makes it all better. That's all I'm saying. So that's it for today's video, guys. A little bit all over the place, but fuck it. We'll do it live, like Bill O'Reilly says. Like I said in my last video, I brought up Bill O'Reilly. I guess I have a crush on Bill O'Reilly. No, he just comes up to me whenever I'm recording, and I think of him on there every time because that shit's so funny. But yeah, that's it, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you all had a great weekend. Love you all. Peace.